So 2 days later, my mom gets on the phone and goes, "Hey, John, do you want to go to Dubrovnik with me for a winter break?" I like Dubrovnik. "Oh, yeah, on the Adriatic. I love it." She's like, "Yeah, but we're going to go to a place called Medjugorje for a few days. Would you?" "Yeah, way."
This is the second time you've heard that name, probably. Medjugorje.
Second time.
Yeah.
Because my father basically was like, no, that's not approved. We can't go there. Anyway, lo and behold, I go, "Sure, Mom." Because when moms ask, you go.
And did it feel providential that you're hearing this word a few days after your doctor?
Yeah, it was, well, you know how some people say there's no such thing as coincidences or God incidences?
Yeah.
Coincidence. You know, come on. I'm science.
Yeah.
By this point, I believe in scientism. I believe that there's nothing out there where it's all chance. Yeah. Roll the dice, the pool of sludge that created the protein that, that's how genes, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so 2 weeks later, a week later, 10 days, whatever it was, I went. And my mom, it's a 10-hour flight. We flew into, I think, Dubrovnik. It was gorgeous. And I brought my Bible because they give you a Bible at the Assembly of God Church. And I had a book about the place written by a Lutheran who was very amenable to it. And I'm like, damn, I am not going to go to any freaking visionaries. And I was there with my mother. It was January.
Honestly, Medjugorje is worth going to just for the coffee, to be fair. God. It's terrific, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I love the coffee.
Yeah.
It's a little Turkish, a little Italian. It's got that flavor, robust. Anyway, oh boy. And while we were there, we get off the bus and we went, oh, by the way, with a communist travel agency. Mom just called up CIT, which was communist run. Oh. Their hotel didn't work. So we stayed at a home with people who were there. So it defaulted to a home. Yeah. And here was this family with a little child. The mother had her second child. We were up in the loft. There were 4 Americans. There were probably 15 Belgian people praying for pro-life work. There were probably 20 Italians, and the rest were just town people. 1989, winter, cold. And, Mom and I get off the bus, and immediately there's things in the sky that my mother saw that she felt unworthy to see. Sun spinning, becoming a Eucharist, heart beating. A heart beating in the sun. You can hear the noise.
She's seeing this.
She's seeing it. I saw some of it, but I said, this is mass psychosis. Because remember, Jesus, you see Jesus and you still turn away from him.
Yeah.
So we begin to walk around the town, and eventually I end up going to the small apparition hill called Podbro. And while I was sitting there, a young woman comes up to me who I believe was Belgian. And once again, this is stuff that I share with people, and it's in the book To Patience, but I don't, it's just prayer. I mean, it's not something for me to think, to contemplate over, because it's just part of my life. And she comes up and she says, "Oh, you're the mother's doctor." "Mother who? What are you talking about?" "Well, I was praying over there, and I think you're an OBGYN, and I have a bunch of things to tell you. Would you sit down and open up your..."
Who's saying this to you?
A woman from Belgium.
You've never met?
Never met. And after several tens, maybe over 60, things that she said would happen, or possibly could happen if I opened my heart here, because my heart was hard.
And she knew that.
She says it was hard as the rocks on the ground. I said, "Yeah, you're nuts. Thanks." But, I put down my book, began to open up my Bible, and then we had singing of some sort in my prayer. in my prayer, and a smell of roses. And when I looked up, there in front of me in my prayer was the Sacred and Immaculate Hearts.
You've said in my prayer. I haven't heard that expression before. What do you mean?
I'm praying. I'm just praying my heart out here that if there is a God, that he would hear me. I'm praying that my mother is here. Now I'm fracturing. I know I'm fracturing. I know I'm fracturing. But it's not because of what I'm doing. It's because of the lies that my parents told me are still inside of me, pulling me back.
Yeah.
But I'm fracturing because I count body parts. And by this point, I was doing bigger abortions with tearing off limbs. And I was helping remove eggs for embryos to make embryos for IVF, in vitro fertilization. And I was sterilizing anything that was poor.
I want to tell you about a course that I have created for men to overcome pornography. It is called strive21.com/Matt. You go there right now, or if you text STRIVE to 66866, we'll send you the link. It's 100% free, and it's a course I've created to help men, to give them the tools to overcome pornography. Usually men know that porn is wrong. They don't need me or you to convince them that it's wrong. What they need is a battle plan to get out. And so I've distilled all that I've learned over the last 15 or so years as I've been talking and writing on this topic into this one course. Think of it as if you and I could have a coffee over the next 21 days and I would kind of guide you along this journey. That's basically what this is. It's incredibly well produced. We had a whole camera crew come and film this. And I think it'll be a real help to you. And it's also not an isolated course that you go through on your own, because literally tens of thousands of men have now gone through this course. And as you go through the different videos, there's comments from men all around the world encouraging each other, offering to be each other's accountability partners and things like that. Strive21, that's strive21.com/Matt, or as I say, text STRIVE to 66866 to get started today. You won't regret it.
Parts. And by this point, I was doing bigger abortions with tearing off limbs. And I was helping remove eggs for embryos to make embryos for IVF, in vitro fertilization. And I was sterilizing anything that was poor.
I know what you mean, but say...
I know. Well, anybody who couldn't afford more children, we made sure that their tubes were tied.
Without their consent.
Well, with their consent, but with, we just encouraged them and we gave them all the positives without the negatives. And, and it wasn't until, after my change of heart, some of those people tried to come back to me 2 years later after being with them and praying for them. They're back at church. They now have found a man. They now have found somebody that they could give their life to. And, oh, by the way, I tied their tubes 2 or 3 years earlier. And now they wanted children and family. Couldn't do it because, the federal government doesn't pay for that. Tough place to be.
So it sounds like in Medjugorje, you were in the same position as Peter when he said, "Get away from me, I'm a sinful man."
So once again, in my prayer, when I looked up and I saw or imagined what I saw, I fell flat down on the ground and said, "I am a man of unclean lips in a land of unclean lips. Get away from me." And I hit the ground as hard as I could, yet I didn't get hurt. It's all rock. And then in my prayer, she just gently lifted me up through my arm, and she put my right arm into his side, where I touched the heart of Christ, the font of mercy, in my prayer. And everything had changed. I collapsed to my knees. I'm seeing myself as a leper. and my skin is just rotten, and it's beginning to be healed. And scales come off my eyes, and I look up, and I'm loved. Beloved. Totally loved. I saw my life pass before me, sins of omission and commission. I was deeply sorry. There was fear, but not. There was, Father, forgive me, for I'm a sinner. Right through me. Right through me. And then she picked me back up again. The mother, in my prayer said, do you want to help my son renew the face of the earth in medicine? And I said, oh my God, is that the answer to my schizophrenia? Is that the answer to my split? Fusion with the Father brings joy to the sinner's heart. The fusion. The fusion that the mother is expert at. The fusion that Aquinas and the rest of the cloud of witnesses have witnessed. It's the beginning of the reality of the conversion, of the consecration to Our Lady that my mother did for me back 7 days after my birth. But I'm now learning that consecration is really Holocaust, which nobody likes to talk about. But it's okay. I'll walk with you through it. Do you want to help renew the face of the earth in medicine? How? Be excellent. See the underserved next to the served. Follow the teachings of my son's church in medicine and faith and reason. And oh, by the way, when you finish here, go show yourself to my priest down at the bottom of the hill and go to confession. First time in 15 years, whatever. I don't know, 10 years. So, Matt.
Glory to God.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.